Hi, this is Bonnie Barker. I'm with BonnieBabeCrochet.com, and today we are going to make a Longstocking Fan Hat. And I'm going to be using Red Heart Super Saver. Feel free to use whatever you have on hand. You can use your stash. You can make this a multi-striped colored hat, or you could choose to make it in your team colors. I am going to make it in my local team colors. I'm going to be making it gold and garnet. I'm going to be using 2 scans, one of each color. Each scan has approximately 364 yards with the Super Saver scans. However, I only used about half of each of them, so you really aren't going to need to use 2 full scans. Okay, and I'm also going to be using a size J crochet hook, or size 10, which is 6.00 millimeters. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, to make this hat, we're going to be starting with the tip, which is the very narrow, and then we're going to work our way gradually increasing until we get it to be large enough to fit around our head. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to crochet a small loop. We're going to do our slip knot, and then we're going to do 4 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to join with a slip stitch to make a little donut here, a little donut seed, or a little Cheerio. Okay, I'm going to chain 2, and now I'm going to work 10 double crochets into the center. Okay, I'm sorry, yeah, did I say double crochet? Double crochets. I've been doing multiple videos today, so I want to make sure I tell you the truth, get you the right stitches out there. Okay, now as I work around this little Cheerio, I am working also around this loose thread so that I'm not going to have to worry with it when I get to the end of this round. Okay, it's going to be well hidden and I'll never see it again. Okay, so let's see how many we have here. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now each round is going to end the same way. You can join with a slip stitch to the first stitch of the round. And while we're talking about patterns here, let me just say that you can go to my Ravelry page, and I will put the link on the screen there for you to check that out. And if you want to download the actual physical copy of this pattern, it's going to be for a limited time. It will be available for free, but then after that it will be 99 cents. So if you want to get it, I would encourage you to download that today. Okay, so for round number 2, I'm going to chain 2. We're not going to turn to work with the back side facing. We're going to try to have the front side facing for all of these rounds. Okay, for round number 2, we're going to double crochet in each stitch around. So go ahead and work 10 double crochets. Well, before we do that, let me do one more thing. I'm going to go ahead and trim this strand. That'll be one less strand I have to hide later on. So go ahead. Let's go ahead and work one double crochet in each stitch around. At the end of the round, you should have 10. Before I join this next round, I wanted to show you something. This is the last double crochet that I worked in. Now this looks like it could be a potential stitch, but as you remember, that was the join where we joined round 1. So I say that so that you're careful not to add stitches in here, because if you do, the hat's going to be way too big in the end after we do, all the many rounds that we're going to do. And if you're in doubt, you can always count each stitch individually to make sure you have the right stitch count at the end of each round. So I'm going to join with a slip stitch, just like so. We're going to chain 2. Now round 3 is a round where we're going to actually increase the number of stitches. Okay, the instructions say to chain 2 double crochets in the first stitch, or in the stitch. And now after that, we're going to work 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So we have 1 here and 1 here. We're going to do this a total of 3 times. So we're going to be adding 3 stitches to this round. So we do 2 stitches in the next stitch, okay, and then 1 in the next 2 stitches. And we do that one more time. 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Okay, and then the last stitch we just work a double crochet, just like so, and then join with a slip stitch to the first stitch of the round. Now so now we're done with 3. That's pretty quick. I'm going to chain 2. For round 4, we're simply going to double crochet in each stitch around. At the end of round 3, you should have 13 stitches or 13 double crochets. Also notice that in that stitch count, I'm not including the chain as a double crochet. I'm just considering that a chain, turning chain, and although we're not really turning. But go ahead now for round 4, 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way around. Okay, that brings us to the end of round 4, and every 4 rounds we are going to change colors. So in order to do that, I am going to do that at the join. I stick the hook in, and instead of pulling the red, I'm going to pull my contrasting color, or color 2, through. Okay, and I'm going to do a chain 2, and when I do my chains, I like to put both strands. You don't have to do it this way. This is just the way I like to do it, because well, maybe not the second time, just the one time. I like to put the 2 strands through. Kind of gives it a little more strength. And now I begin. Well, first, let's go ahead and let's trim this color while I have it. Trim the red. Don't bother carrying it behind, because that would not work very well on this particular pattern. Okay, so for row number 5, it's single crochet in each stitch around. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and crochet in each stitch around. Remember, for row 5, the stitch count is still 13. In the pattern, if you notice that you only see a number at the end of the round once that number has changed from the previous round. So there are going to be a lot of rounds that don't have a number at the end, and that the reason for that is it hasn't changed from the previous round, if that makes any sense. It's just a way to keep the pattern less cluttered. Okay, so I'm almost all the way around here. My 13 stitches. Okay, now here's another place where the strand, right here, it looks like that's a stitch, but it really isn't, because that's where the join was. So just be careful not to put extra stitches in there. Okay, and once we start hiding these, we can give that a little tug and it won't look quite as obvious. Alright, so now we're going to chain 2. We're ready to begin round 6, and round 6 is going to be an increase round. We're going to work 2 double crochets in that first stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3. And we're going to do that 3 times. We've already done it once, so we're going to do that 2 more times. 2 double crochets, and then 1 in the next 3 stitches. 2, 3, and then 1 more increase. 2 double crochets in the 1 stitch, and then 1 in the next 3. 1, 2, 3, and now round 6 is a DC, or double crochet, in the last stitch. Okay, so you can see we're gradually increasing. So we're going to go ahead and do a slip stitch at the top of the stitch. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows, or rounds rather, already. So we're going to chain 2, and for the next, this is round 7, we're going to double crochet in each stitch around. At the end, we do have 16 double crochets now, so I'm going to go ahead and do this all the way around. Okay, I've joined round 7. Now we're ready to begin round 8. This is another increase round. We are going to work a chain 2, which I've already done, and then we work 2 double crochets in that first stitch, and then 1 in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. And according to the pattern, we're going to repeat that 3 more times. So go ahead and repeat that 3 times. 2 double crochets in the first stitch, and then 1 in the next 4 stitches. And we end this round with a double crochet in the last stitch. Okay, now we're going to join, and now we look and we've seen that we've done 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds. So now it's time to switch colors again. I insert my hook. I'm going to drop this yellow color. I'm actually going to go ahead and give it a trim since I'm not going to be using it. And I'm going to pick up the red or garnet or whatever color you want to call this. I think it's technically berry according to the Red Heart Yarn Company. Okay, give that a tug. I'm going to give that yellow string a tug as well. And once we hide these at the end, they will be less prominent. Okay, so I'm going to give that another chain. Now for row 9, we're going to double crochet in each stitch around. So we simply do 1 stitch in each stitch around. Actually, row 10 is the same. We just double crochet in each stitch around. So I'm going to go ahead and finish row 9 and 10, which is just 1 stitch in each. Now for round number 11, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to work 2 double crochet in the first stitch, and then we're going to have 1 double crochet in the next 7. Okay, and we're going to do that 2 times. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I'm going to repeat that. 2 double crochets in the same place, and then 1 in each of the next 7. It's 4. Whoops. 5, 6, 7. Let me just verify to make sure I did that correctly. There's 2 there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and what do the directions say? And to double crochet in the last 3 stitches. So we do have our stitch count correct. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to join with the slip stitch. Okay, I'm going to chain 2, and for the last row, which is row 12 of this stripe, we're just going to double crochet in each stitch around. So I'm going to go ahead and do that double crochet in each stitch around. Again, the stitch count at this point will be 21. Okay, at the end of round 12, it's going to be time to change the colors. So as we join, let's make sure we change back to the other color for our team here. And give it a little chain. I'm going to give this a little tug. I'm also going to be sure to trim this. Okay, I'm going to stick it down in the hat there, so hopefully it won't bug me too much. Go ahead and chain 2. And the next 2 rounds, rounds 13 and 14, are just working 1 double crochet in each stitch around. Okay, so go ahead and do that 1 double crochet in each stitch around. This is for rounds 13 and 14. Okay, for the next round, this is round number 15. I'm going to chain 2. This is the increase round. We're going to work 2 double crochets in that first stitch, and then 1 in the next 6 stitches. Okay, that's 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have 2 in the first stitch, and then one in the next 6 stitches. So let's go ahead and do that again. 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 in the next 6 stitches. So go ahead and do that around. Then we join with the slip stitch. At the end of this round, you should have 24 double crochets. I'm going to chain 2, and for the next round, we are just going to work double crochets, 1 in each stitch all the way around. Okay, at the end of this round, since we've done 4 more rounds in the same color, it's time to change colors. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trim this, leaving a nice long strand, and kind of stuff it down in there. And I'm going to join the new color like so. I'm going to give it a chain and a tug, and I'm going to give this strand a little bit of a tug too. And once I hide that, again, once we hide them at the end, they will be out of sight and will be well hidden and will be fine. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and chain 2, and I'm going to go ahead and just work 1 double crochet in each stitch around. This is for the next 2 rounds, so this round and the next round. See, we're on stripe 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are rounds 17 and 18. Just double crochet in each stitch around. Okay, now we begin round 19, and this is an increase round. We're going to work 2 double crochets in the first stitch, and then we're going to work 1 double crochet in the next 7 stitches. We're going to do that 3 times all the way around. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So just to show you there, we'll do that 2 more times. So do this all the way around. At the end of this round, you should have 27 stitches. Okay, for round number 20, we are just going to work 1 double crochet in each stitch around. At the end of this round, we'll be changing colors again. Okay, that brings us to the end of round number 20, and it's time for us to switch yarn again. So I'm going to go ahead and trim a nice long strand of this. Okay, and bring the, yeah, whoops, don't want to do that. Let me try this again. So I'm going to put it into the join. We're going to join with the slip stitch and give it a chain and a tug. I'm going to give that little strand a little tug there so it pulls it a little bit tighter. And the next 2 rounds are going to be work 1 double crochet in each stitch around, and we have 27 stitches in these rounds now. Okay, so go ahead and do the next 2 rounds. Now we're going to start round 23, which is an increase round. I'm going to chain 2 and 2 double crochets in that first stitch, and then 1 double crochet in each of the next 8 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Whoops, let's try that one again. It got away from me. Okay, so go ahead and do that 2 more times, or for a total of 3 times all the way around. At the end of this round, you should have 30 stitches. That brings us to round number 24, and we're just going to work 1 double crochet in each stitch around. And again, this round should have 30 stitches. At the end of this round, we will change colors again. So at the end of round 24, I'm going to be changing color. So go ahead and trim the color that we're using. And we're going to join with a slip stitch, bringing in the contrasting color. Okay, give it a tug, And give this little strand a tug back here. And let's just try one of these strands. Okay, let's give it another chain. And go ahead and work one. This is row 25. Go ahead and work one double crochet in each stitch all the way around. And actually, for round 26, do the same thing. So do 2 more rounds, just one double crochet in each stitch. And the stitch count, just for review, is 30 stitches all the way around. That brings us to round number 27. We're going to chain 2. This is an increased round, so we're going to do 2 double crochets in the first stitch, and then 1 double crochet in each of the next 8 stitches. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we'll repeat that. Go ahead and repeat that 2 more times for a total of 3 times all the way around. At the end of the round, just double crochet in the 3 remaining stitches. Okay, and we're going to join that with a slip stitch to the top of the round, or to the top of the first stitch of the round. Let's go ahead and chain 2 and do the next round, which is simply a double crochet in each stitch all the way around. Okay, at the end of round 29, it is time, or actually this is the end of round 28, I'm sorry. It is time to change colors again. So I'll go ahead and grab the contrasting color, and let's go ahead and go into that join, to join with the slip stitch. Give that a nice firm tug, and I like to give the stranded here a little bit of a tug, and another chain, and let's go ahead and work. This is round 29. For the next 2 rounds, 29 and 30, are simply working a double crochet in each stitch around. So let's go ahead and do those 2 rounds, just 1 stitch in each stitch. Okay, just to make sure we're on track here, this is the 8th stripe, and we do have 33 stitches in those last 2 rounds, and that would be round 29 and 30. Okay, now we're on round 31. We're going to chain 2, and this is an increased round. We're going to work 2 double crochets in the first stitch and 1 in the next 7 stitches, and we're going to do that 4 times. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then we'll repeat that. 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 in each of the next 7. So go ahead and finish that around. At the end of round 31, we're going to work a double crochet in that remaining stitch and join with the slip stitch to the first double crochet of the round. Let's chain 2 and go on to round number 32, which is simply going to be, you guessed it, 1 double crochet in each stitch of the round. So go ahead and do that all the way around. Okay, as we end this round, it is time to change color again, because we've done 4 stripes of the same color. So let me go ahead and grab the contrasting color again, so I can pull that on through. And also keep in mind, if you wanted to change, how many rounds you do per stripe, feel free to do that. Just make sure you get a copy of the pattern, and you can check them off as you go, so it'll be less confusing. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and chain 1, chain 2, and I'm going to work 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way around. Actually, I'm going to do that for the next 2 rounds. So for round 33 and round 34, this is the 9th stripe, just 1 double crochet in each stitch around. So I'll go ahead and do those 2 rounds and get back to you. Okay, now we're ready to start round 35. Again, we're on stripe number 9, And just for the record, the stitch count on the last 3 rounds has been 37 double crochet. Okay, so now we're starting round 35. Okay, so we're going to work 2 double crochets in the first stitch because this is another increase round. And then we're going to work a double crochet in the next 6 stitches. And we're going to do this 5 times as we go around. We're going to be adding more stitches than usual for this round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So what we're going to do, just to be clear, 2 double crochets in the first stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next 6 stitches, and then we just are going to repeat that around. 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 in the next 6 stitches. So go ahead and do that around. We end this round by working a double crochet in the last 2 stitches. Okay, join with a slip stitch to the first stitch of the round. Then we're going to chain 2, and we're just going to work 1 double crochet in each stitch around. At this point you should have 42 stitches or 42 double crochets in each round, or at least in this round, the last round and this round. Okay, so go ahead and finish those 42 stitches, and then we will change yarn one more time. Okay, now we're going to prepare to change colors again. So go ahead and cut that, and we're going to join with a slip stitch and give it a chain, give it a tug, give that strand a tug too, and I'm going to give it another chain, and we are going to work beginning the 10th stripe. So go ahead and work the first or the next 2 rounds, working 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way around. So go ahead and do this round and the next round the same way. Okay, that brings us to round number 39. We're going to chain 2 and 2 double crochets in the first stitch. This again is an increase round, and then we're going to work 1 double crochet in the next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're going to do that 6 times. At the end of this round, we should have 48 double crochet. So we're getting close to our, whoops, let's go ahead and put 2 there. We're getting close to coming to our final stitch count in the next several rounds. So it's getting closer. This is the 10th stripe. So after this stripe, there are just 2 more to go, and then we do the band that will be around the face, which I guess we can call that the brim. So we're getting closer. Okay, so for this round, 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 in the next 6. Okay, after round 39, we begin round 40 with a chain 2 and 1 double crochet in each stitch around. And just as a reminder, at the end of this round, we will change colors again. Okay, we're at the end of round 40. It's time to change the yarn again. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that color. And as I join with the slip stitch, I'm going to go ahead and get the contrasting color and pull it through. If it'll come through, there you go. And give it a tug. And give that little strand in here, I'm going to give it a little bit of a tug as well. Okay, and another chain, and we're going to begin our 11th stripe, which is round 41. So go ahead and work a double crochet in each stitch around for round 41 and for round 42. So go ahead and do 2 more rounds, this round and the next, just working 1 double crochet in each stitch around. Okay, and just for the record, the stitch count is 48 double crochets in each of these rounds. Okay, now we've come to round 43. This is another increase round. We're going to do 2 double crochets in that first stitch, and then 1 double crochet in each of the next 11 stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's take another look at that. There's going to be 2 double crochets in the first stitch and then 1 in each of the next 11 stitches. Let me verify this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's a lot of stitches. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and repeat that 4 times all the way around, and that should, fill in all the spaces. And at the end of that round, we should have 52 double crochets. So go ahead and finish that round. Okay, this brings us to round 44. And for this round, we're just going to work 1 double crochet in each stitch around. And as a reminder, we are going to change yarns at the end of this round. So go ahead and put 1 stitch in each stitch all the way around. Okay, that brings us to our last gold stripe. We're going to go ahead and join with the slip stitch, but first we got to change our colors. Again, this is the last time we're going to use this gold or whatever contrasting number 2 color you chose. So this is stripe number 12. We're going to join with a slip stitch. Go ahead and give that a tug. I like to give that string a tug as well. Give it another chain, and we are going to work 1 stitch or 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way around. And we are going to do that for the next 2 rounds, which is round 45 and round 46. So go ahead and do that. One double crochet in each stitch all the way around. Now we're ready to begin round 47. This is going to be the last increase we do for this project, and this will bring us to our final stitch count. Okay, so we are going to increase this round by working 2 double crochets in the first stitch and then a double crochet in the next 12 stitches. We're going to do this 4 times all the way around, and that will give us a stitch count of 56. So I'm going to go ahead and do the first repeat for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So let's take a look at that. So we're going to do 2 double crochets in the first stitch and then 1 in each of the next 12, and then we repeat that. So it'll be a total of 4 times doing this. 2 double crochets in the next stitch and then 1 in the next 12 all the way around. Okay, the next round 48, we're going to chain 2, and we're just going to work 1 double crochet in each stitch of the round. And at the end of this round, before we join, we are going to change colors for the very last time. So go ahead and work this all the way around. Okay, so this is the last yarn change. I'm going to go ahead and give that a little cut there. And I'm going to pull in the contrasting color for the last time. Yay! And pull that through like so. Give it a chain. Give it a tug. And give that little stitch there a tug. Okay, I'm going to give it another chain, and then we're going to just work 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way around for this row. We're working actually on the brim, and we're going to do something a little different after this round, but go ahead and work 1 stitch all the way around, or actually 1 stitch in each stitch all the way around. Okay, for now, for round 50, we're actually going to begin the ribbing portion. And the way we do this is we use front post and back post stitches. I'm going to try to go slow at first so that I can explain it to those who maybe have never seen a post stitch work before. I've gone ahead and I've chained 2, and we're going to work double front post, double crochet. And the way we do this is instead of going in through the top, we actually go around the stitch all the way around and give it a belt. So for the front post double crochet, we go into the front, and then we pull a stitch through, and we just go ahead and complete our double crochet as normally would. Now for a back post double crochet, we are going to come in through the back door, go around the stitch, and we're going to tie it off in the back by doing a double crochet kind of towards the back. So we're going to alternate one front post double crochet, then back post double crochet all the way around. I'll do this a few times for those of you who have never done post stitches. Once you do a few of these, you're going to find out just how easy they are, and it just opens up a whole new world of the possibilities of what you can do with these stitches. Okay, so a front post double crochet going in the front door. Now going all the way around the stitch. It's like giving it a belt. And then just complete the stitch the way you normally would. Then for a back post, we wrap the stitch, come around the back, and then just complete the stitch on the back side. Front post, double crochet, and then back post, double crochet. Okay, so we're going to do this all the way around. And what's really nice about this, once I do a couple of rows, you'll be able to see this, or rounds rather, is it gives it a nice elasticity. And it works out really well for keeping a hat this size on your head. Okay, so go ahead and do that all the way around. Okay, so now that I completed that round, I just joined with a slip stitch like I normally would. I've chained 2, and we're going to do this through round 64. So you're going to have a total of 16 rows. Okay, starting with this row, we're going to do 16 rows. 15 will be with the ribbed stitch. Okay, so we're going to do front post double crochet and then back post double crochet all the way around, just like we did for the last round. But it's a little bit easier, I think, this go round, because you actually do back post stitches over the back post, and then front post double crochets over the front post. If the stitch is in the back, you know you're going to repeat a back post double crochet. If it's in the front, you go ahead and cover that with a front post double crochet. And you can see the ribbed effect that we already get, and giving it a lot of nice elasticity. Okay, so go ahead and do rounds 52 through 64. Okay, I've worked part of the brim, and I've decided I am going to stop after I have completed 8 rows with the darker color here. That would be the foundation row that we worked, which was just double crochet, and then 7 rounds with the front post double crochet, back post double crochet. Now, if you're using thinner yarn or yarn that's not quite as stiff as what I have here, I would encourage you to go ahead and finish the next 8 rounds, and then that way you could fold the brim back, and that would help it to be more secure. Now with the yarn that I'm using here, this is actually quite nice, quite stiff enough that I don't need to double the brim, so I'm not going to. So I'm just going to stop after 8 rounds. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fasten off. Cut a nice long piece of yarn, and I am effectively done with the hat. I can show you with my limited view here. Okay, so we have our 12 stripes plus the brim. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you quickly how to hide all these loose strands, because on the inside we have quite a number of them in which to deal with. So I'm going to show you how to deal with one, and you can apply this to hiding the rest. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this down into the stitches like so. There's not a lot of rules to how to do this, except that you want to hide them on the wrong side, or on the inside of the hat. You don't want them to be showing on the outside. And I like to bring them down like this, and it's kind of nice to kind of go two ways with these sometimes, because that way it kind of gives a little more resistance so they won't pull out. And then after I've hidden it that way, I'm going to go ahead and cut it. And careful to cut the strand and not my stitches. Okay, now obviously if I'm hiding these strands here, I'm going to hide this strand in the darker colored, and I'm going to hide the yellow strand in the yellow stitches. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is make a pom-pom for this, and let me show you how to do this. I'm going to go get my equipment, and I'll show you what you need. In order to make the pom-pom for the top of the hat like this, I'm actually going to be using the Clover pom-pom makers. This is not a paid endorsement of any kind. This just happened to be what the craft store had available when I went to purchase these. So I'm going to use the larger one of the two, and this is going to make a pom-pom diameter of 3 3/8 of an inch. Okay, this is the pom-pom maker, and let me show you how this works. This opens up this direction, and this opens up this direction. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to wrap yarn around each end, and I'm going to go ahead and start doing that. Now, because I want to make this pom-pom with two colors, I want the two colors to be evenly, spread throughout the pom-pom. I'm going to go ahead and wind this with two of the colors. I'm going to go ahead and close this side for now. Okay, I'm going to hold this steady like this, and don't worry if it's not held exactly at the beginning, because we can trim that off later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this around, and I'm going to count as I go, and I'm going to try to get about 60 wraps of the yarn. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. Okay, so yes, this is going to be a kind of a fat pom-pom. So I'm going to go ahead and close that side like this. I'm going to open, let's go back to this other side. I'm going to open this other side, and I'm just going to continue winding from where I was. Now remember what I said, it doesn't matter if these aren't exactly perfectly aligned, it will work out in the end. So I'm going to wrap it 60 times on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. Okay, now there is nothing magical about the number 60. That's just a number that I picked, and I want this to be a really full pom-pom. So that's what that's all about. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let's see, I'm going to put this, it doesn't really matter where you put it. I'm going to go ahead and cut this. Actually, I'm going to cut a nice, I guess it really doesn't matter, because this is not the string that's going to be holding this together. Okay, so after I do that, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this apart. What's really nice about these is here, let me hold it from this end. is that the scissors fit nicely right in between, right dead in the center, just in that little groove there. So you go ahead and cut. And this is where it helps to have a very nice sharp pair of scissors. Okay, so cut right down the middle. And I'm going to do that on this end as well. Okay, there we go. So the next important thing we're going to do is we're going to get a string and we're going to put it right in the middle. Okay, right around on the outside like so. Okay, I'm going to leave some nice long strands here so that I can, have strands to tie it onto the top of the hat. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tie this. I've got the string, as you can see, in the middle. And I'm going to pull it just as tight as I possibly can without breaking the yarn. It is possible to do that. So I'm going to give it a nice tight, and then I'm going to tie it again, do another knot, and I might do it a third time, making sure this thing does not come undone. Okay, nice pull there. Okay, now these strands are a little bit long. I'm going to go ahead and cut them right there. Okay, so this is the moment of truth. We find out how we did here. So now we're going to pull these apart. You have a little pin in the middle. I'll show you in just a second. So that's 1/2. Let's go ahead and take that off of there. I should have cut that, but I'll get it in a second. And then we pull the other half out. And there you have it. I'm going to go ahead and trim this up a little bit. I knew that would happen. It'd be a little bit longer, but by and large, everything else is pretty even. I'm going to trim these two. Okay, so this is our pom-pom. Not bad, huh? Okay, like I said, you can make this with less yarn by not winding it as much, but I think the best results are going to be found when you are very generous with how many times you wrap your yarn around the pom-pom maker. Okay, and so here is what it looks like on the inside. And then to make another one, you just put that back together, push it back together tightly. There you go. And you're ready. Okay, now that we have our pom-pom, what I'm going to do, I am going to thread. I can actually do one or both. I think I'm going to tie this in a knot. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to thread just one of the strands, okay, into the long, generous strands that I left, and I'm going to bring this around that first row, or should I say the first round that we did in our hat, and I'm going to bring this all the way around under that first round. There's a lot of stitches because it was 10 double crochets, as I recall. And just 2 more stitches here. Okay, I'm going to get the other strand that's here, and I am just going to, whoops, it's still connected to the yarn. Okay, I'm going to just tie a nice sturdy knot and then tie it again. Okay, and then I'm going to just trim these. Let me do it a third time. I don't want this to come off. Okay, and then I'm going to just trim these the same length as the rest of the strands on the pom-pom. And ta-da! Our pom-pom is now attached to our hat. So we are done with our fan hat, our Longstocking fan hat. I hope you enjoyed this project. Hopefully it's in time for, some nice Christmas gifts. If you know of any sports fans or anybody that's going to be, watching sports games or anything out in the nice cold weather, it's one way they can show their fan support. This took me approximately 2 hours, so I'm guessing the average crocheter, I would say 3 to 4 hours would probably be the amount of time to expect to get through this project, considering understanding the directions and everything. I hope you enjoyed this. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.